think of three dimensions starting with the letter P. That's the way I'm going to present this. Problem, prognostications, and policy perspectives or policy prescriptions. What is the problem, or what are the problems facing Sri Lanka in the period under review, which would be of particular interest to a corporate audience? I would identify three. The first is that there is a gap between Sri Lanka's post-war potential and its post-war actuality. Where we are today is not where we can be. We are way behind where we can be and what we can be. The second is that in certain respects we are in fact going backwards, not catching up with our potential. And the third aspect is that the gap between actuality and potential, and in fact the backslide or the backward movement, is not because of intrinsically economic reasons, but because of extra economic factors. Factors extrinsic to the economy, distorting the functioning of the economy and our economic potential. That is the problem as far as I see it. I shall return to these themes time permitting. What is the prognosis? What is the perspective for the time horizon of, let us say, this year? Since I have most recently been a diplomat, I will start with the diplomatic drama that is now unfolding, and then move into the political realm. And finally, the third and final part of my presentation will be the policy prescriptions. Now, my prognosis is rather pessimistic, I'm sorry to say. The ongoing events in Geneva, which will climax next week, should be considered both a barometer of Sri Lanka's standing in the world and also a bill of health that is given to Sri Lanka by the world community. Now, I repeat that. The vote in Geneva, if I may put it succinctly, the vote in Geneva is a barometer of Sri Lanka's standing in the world and is a bill of health that is given by the world system or the world community to Sri Lanka. Now, in the year 2009, in May 2009, after the successful conclusion of a 30 years war, we had its diplomatic manifestation in Geneva. And we know now from the WikiLeaks that the then Secretary of State of the United States of America, Hillary Clinton, sent a cable on the 9th of May 2009 instructing her permanent mission in Geneva to support, help draft, canvass votes, and generally work with the EU in the resolution that the EU was presenting on Sri Lanka in May. So the United States was present in the game but was leading from behind, as the phrase goes. It was not formally a member of the Council, it was in the Council, but it was not a member, but it was supporting the EU. And in 2009, there were two powerful personalities in international politics who were driving forward the resolution. One was David Miliband, the Foreign Secretary of the United Kingdom, and Dr. Bernard Kouchner, who was the Foreign Minister of France. Today we do not have two personalities of that stature who are invested in the resolution. They're not driving it forward as such. We also had a situation in 2009 that we do not see today, and that is the phenomenon of massive demonstrations in the capitals of the West, where even traffic was blocked outside Westminster for quite a few days. Traffic was blocked in Geneva because of tens of thousands of demonstrators from the pro-Tiger element of the Tamil diaspora. And tragically, a young man of 21 years old, an accountant from London, immolated himself outside the Padai, the UN Council of Human Rights, before our vote was to be taken. Despite that, we managed to obtain a vote of 29 in favor of Sri Lanka, supporting the preemptive counter-resolution that we presented. And there were only 12 votes against us. Last year, when the United States, the sole superpower in the world, presented the resolution against Sri Lanka, it was able to secure only 24 votes. But we in 2009 were able to secure 29. That was the measure of our victory. And I'm pleased to have been able to play a part in that diplomatic achievement. Now, what is sad, as a Sri Lankan and also for me personally, is that a 17-vote majority in 2009 was converted to a 9-vote defeat in 2012, 3 years on. And if there is a vote next week, I fear that we may get even fewer votes than we got last year. So what we have is a phenomenon of a vertical drop in our support. So bear in mind the symbolism that I use of a barometer. The barometer registers a vertical drop in support. Now, it has been said that India turned against us last year and that's why we lost. Now, yes and no. India's support is essential, but it is not sufficient. In 2009, we had India's support, we obtained India's support. But a few weeks later, India, Russia and China supported Myanmar, or Burma as some people call it, but Myanmar lost the vote in the Human Rights Council. So the support of India, Russia and China is necessary but not sufficient to achieve victory. It is also said that Cuba, China and Russia are no longer members this year. This is true, but then again it's irrelevant because last year they were members and Sri Lanka lost. Now the figure that you have to bear in mind is this. Today, of the 47 members of the UN Human Rights Council, 33 come from Asia, Africa and Latin America. 33 come from the third world. This has been built into the constitution, as it were, what is known as the institution building package of the UN Human Rights Council. There is pretty much a permanent majority for the countries of the global south because they represent the bulk of the world's people. I know this for a fact because when the institutionalization package or the constitution of the Human Rights Council was finally passed, I was a vice president of the Human Rights Council. So we still have a permanent majority for the global south, and yet Sri Lanka was defeated last year and is facing an even more dismal defeat this year. And if instead of a vote there is a consensus or compromise, there's nothing wrong with the compromise, I fear that it will be weighted heavily against us. So something has gone radically wrong. Now, I also said that Geneva, or resolution in Geneva, vote in Geneva is something like a bill of health or or an SLS mark or something. Because the rest of the world gets to see our standing in the international community. Geneva must not be taken in isolation. I have suggested in good faith but also in good humor in my interviews given in the similar press that the decision makers in Sri Lanka should have two things with them. Very sophisticated devices. One is a world map which they can buy from a bookshop, and the other is a calendar. Because if they have a world map, then they would be able to put pins in all the places where Sri Lanka is having a build-up of opinion against it.